What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back. And from TMZ, Luka Doncic. I used to smile on the court. Loss of joy blamed on Kyrie. So the media is blaming the loss of joy on Kyrie. There's no way Luka's going to come out and say, I used to really like basketball until this guy got traded to our team. Not going to happen. But obviously the media has had it out for Kyrie since the day he chose to stand up to the pharmafia and reject the forced pharmaceuticals. And then, of course, he made that big, scary, mean tweet about a movie that he had nothing to do with the production of. But that was enough for them to come after him for arguably, possibly, the rest of his life, certainly the rest of his NBA career. They might not even let him into the media after because, he's such a scary liability, threat to democracy, this, that, and the other. But they say Luka Doncic says he hasn't been happy on the court like he used to be. And while he's publicly citing personal problems, Twitter seems to be blaming Kyrie. So Luka can say right to your face it's personal, but the media is going to tell you it's Kyrie. And the media is going to say, well, it's Twitter, even though TMZ, which is one of the biggest media outlets in the world, possibly, they put in big, bold letters at the top, loss of joy blamed on Kyrie, right? So you guys are, perpetuating the narrative, and then you want to throw it, Twitter's doing it, it's not us. Guys, you posted it in huge, big, black, bold letters. Luka's loss of joy is blamed on Kyrie. So you're a huge part of this problem as well. The Dallas Mavericks point guard talked to the press Friday night after the team's loss to the Charlotte Hornets, which actually spurred boos from the home crowd, amounting to a somewhat ugly scene in American Airlines Center. Head coach Jason Kidd said it was deserved. Shout out Jason Kidd, from Oakland, California. Mavericks Luka Doncic expressed that he doesn't feel the same joy on the court lately. He mentioned there's a lot going on beyond basketball, and they're pretending that just can't be the case. No, you just don't like Kyrie, right? It's Kyrie's fault. He's telling you it's outside of basketball. They're humans. They have regular lives. Kyrie talks about that constantly. People see him play basketball for a couple hours and think they know about him. They think they know everything. And look, I like Kyrie. He's one of the best to ever touch a basketball, but I don't know him personally. I can't say what's really going on. And Luka's telling you he has personal problems, but you guys are forcing it onto Kyrie. There's a lot of criticism about the Mavs' lack of effort in this game, especially from their two big stars, Luka and Kyrie, who haven't been gelling that well since KI came on. I don't know. I haven't been following it that closely, but it seems like this would be a step in the right direction, and they want me to believe that at this particular point in time, adding Kyrie to the Mavs is making them a worse team. I guess so. When asked if this is as frustrated as he's been, Luka answered candidly saying yes, and then going on to explain that he feels like his attitude towards the game has changed of late. Namely, he's simply not as excited to play and has effectively lost his love of basketball. Pretty dark. Doesn't look good for the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving isn't worried about the team being booed against the Hornets. So what? Just the way I feel about it. I've been in New York City, so I know what that's like. You obviously want to play well, but there's only 5 people on the court that can. Yeah, I mean, see, he's like, so what? It doesn't matter. You have to keep playing. Are you going to stop playing because your home fans booed you? No, you have to keep going. You have to go out and play the next night. Try to fix the problem. Reporters asked him to elaborate, as that sounds like a clear reference to Kyrie, as he appears to be the one big change in the Mavs organization lately, and Luka pivoted. He said he was dealing with stuff off the court and suggested that what's causing the issues in his game. The internet, however, wasn't buying that and jumped to the conclusion Luka was, in fact, expressing thinly veiled frustration about his new teammate. Maybe that is true. Maybe he's a little bit selfish. Kyrie wants the ball more, and Luka is used to being the star of the team. And Luka still is the star of the team, but, he's got a little, I don't want to say competition because they're teammates, but he's got another superstar there now. And maybe he's not used to that. So it's possible. But for TMZ to post, Luka Doncic loses joy in basketball because of Kyrie, seems like a not so thinly veiled shot at Kyrie, because they would love nothing more than to continue raking this guy over the coals. And they kind of laid off John Morant recently because he capitulated. He said sorry, he went to go get help. Kyrie offered up $500,000, $500,000 to a shakedown grievance organization, only to have the organization say, we don't want your money. So it's a rock and a hard place, right? Because their only goal is to get you to obey. And when Kyrie chooses not to, they're going to beat him into submission until he obeys. And look, I'm not saying nobody's perfect. I'm sure Kyrie's not perfect. He's hopped around all these different teams, and I'm sure he's a little bit hard to work with. Great athletes, great performers are typically a little bit hard to get along with, but that's okay. You don't have to pretend like he's He's causing another superstar to be joyless in basketball. It just doesn't make sense. It's all over the top. Kyrie spoke to the media and was defiant when asked about the fans booing, saying they're more than welcome to come down and play if they think they're up for it. Yeah, exactly. They can't do it. You know, however, 60,000 people in a stadium, none of them are going to be able to even dribble a basketball half as good as Kyrie could with his eyes closed. Eventually, he talked about the transition to the Mavs and how bumpy it's been. The team is currently out of playoff contention, and he also said it's been rough getting adjusted. Yeah, well, I mean, from, Cleveland to Boston to Brooklyn and now the Mavs, yeah, it's a little bit bumpy, but I just think they're trying to rake him over the coals. They're trying to sell him down the river like he's the cause of all the problems, and I just don't think that's true, but I could be wrong. Kyrie was quoted as saying, "We're still filling each other out in a way of getting used to each other's efforts and attitudes and temperament, and that's a real thing. He's a human. That's a human thing. He's a human element. That's a human element. Whether people believe it in basketball or not, there's a very fine line between winning basketball games and everyone being on the same page and losing basketball games and things splintering and pointing fingers. Tough times in Dallas." Okay, so yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a bumpy road starting on a new team again, but this headline by TMZ is just despicable, and it seems like it's not really out to report the news. It's just a hit piece on Kyrie. Loss of joy blamed on Kyrie, and of course they want to blame it on Twitter, even though they're the ones printing big, bold letters blaming Kyrie. So, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and, of course, subscribe.